All right, guys. Hi, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be on this live Q&A today. Let's go ahead and get some housekeeping items out of the way before we get started. First of all, I have enabled a Q&A function on today's webinar. So you'll see if you're watching this on the left-hand side, you'll see a little box that says Q&A in there. So if you guys have any questions, if anything comes up throughout today's broadcast, go ahead and ask those questions by using the Q&A function. I actually won't be able to see if you actually post on the event wall. I will actually not be able to see those questions right now as we're broadcasting live. So if you guys do have any questions that come up, like I said, just click on that Q&A function, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have today. Additionally, we are on about a 20-second delay through YouTube. So just know if you guys do ask a question this morning that I will definitely get to that. If it appears as though I'm not getting to it in a timely manner, I most certainly will. Just understand that we are on a delay. So I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Matt Scanlon. I am a business mentor with 321 Go Project. Additionally, I own a CrossFit affiliate in Kansas City, Missouri, and the name of it is CrossFit Memorial Hill. The purpose of today's live Q&A is to talk about email systems. That's been the focus of a lot of these sessions that we've been doing every Thursday at this time, is to talk about building up some business systems that really put your members first. So, member-centered email systems is what we're going to be talking about today. So what does that mean? Why do you need a robust email system? Quite frankly, that's where most of your athletes are right now. In 2015, everybody is using email. It's almost ubiquitous for communication and connection with people. And that's where all of your future athletes are. Chances are all of your athletes work in an office environment, more than likely, and they are in front of their email, and they're wanting to access that information in real time. So it is one of the non-negotiables in the sort of modern era of business, is to have these strong email systems in place. Another reason why you should have a strong system of email follow-up is that it's one less barrier to entry for your athletes. As you know, it's intimidating to walk into a CrossFit affiliate beyond a shadow of a doubt. And so if communication through email, if that real-time communication reduces that barrier to entry even slightly, then the time you put into developing an email system has more than paid for itself if you've been able to reduce the anxiety of a new athlete coming into your gym. Another reason why it's extremely important to have these robust email systems is that it becomes a lot easier to systematically direct new athletes to your primary call to action. So if you guys are anything like me, you're notoriously bad at selling. I am a terrible salesperson. And when somebody calls me or emails me, and you guys get these questions all the time, I'm sure, it is, tell me about pricing. How do I get started? Am I going to be the oldest one in the room? Am I going to be the fattest one in the room? All of these questions that people have are taking them away from your primary service. So one thing I like to have my email systems do is to direct people towards my primary call to action. And my primary call to action is to come in and do a one-on-one, no sweat intro. That's what we teach in the 321 Go Project Academy, is that sitting down and doing bright spots with athletes, doing a no sweat intro, is going to have your highest likelihood of conversion from a lead into an athlete. So I found that with email, I am able to just instruct athletes to walk through the door. And I know that if they come in the door, I can demonstrate the value that I can show them It's much more difficult for me to demonstrate value on the phone because chances are you're telling them about a gym membership that is 2, 3, 4, 5 times more expensive than they're accustomed to. So a robust email system directs them toward that primary call to action, which chances are you are much better at closing a deal once you're able to sit down with somebody, celebrate their bright spots, and get them moving. So that's really the goal of a good email system, is directing people there. Another reason why you would need a robust email system is the modern consumer is really accustomed to things happening immediately. They want it like right now. And I always use this example of Amazon. Like, Amazon is by far the biggest player in like online retail because it is so easy to order from Amazon. They've got the one click, they store your credit card. I mean, it's such a piece of cake. Like, I can order toilet paper right now and it's done. And I don't think that Amazon's business model, if it were not so convenient, I don't think they would have such a big market share. If you had to pick up the phone and call Amazon, or if you had to send Amazon an email and say, hey, I'd like toilet paper, how much will it be and when can it get here? Chances are you would not continue to be a customer of theirs. Same is true with your business. If somebody has to pick up the phone, if somebody has to wait for a response from you, if these things are not happening immediately, then the attention span of the modern consumer is much shorter than it's typically been. So although you may have the perception that your customers want a personal touch, there's a big market segment of customers that are coming up through the marketplace that value immediacy and predictability over that personalized touch. Once they get into the gym, then we can offer them this super concierge service. But for these like barriers to entry, as easily and quickly as that can be, the higher likelihood that you're going to have to get them in the gym where you can really wow them with your awesome services. For those of you that are getting on the call right now, just to let you know, the Q&A function is going to be in the left-hand side of your screen. So if you do have any questions, please post them using that Q&A button. If you post to the event wall, I actually can't see that right now. So if any questions come up throughout this, please just post it over there. Let's talk about best practices with email use. Using the blind carbon copy function to send out mass newsletters is it's a violation of ICANN, so universally accepted internet rules. So that is not a best practice in using the email, and unfortunately that's something that we see a lot. Chances are you're not going to get in trouble for it, but by abiding by these rules, you do protect yourself, and it just gives off an air of professionalism, which I think is increasingly more important as you guys look to differentiate yourselves in the market. So there are some free services that you can use to build your email systems that are all in compliance with ICANN, ICANN. You guys can look that up. There's plenty of information on it, on best practices. But if you want to be safe, just use a service that that is in compliance with all of those regulations. Some of them that I like are MailChimp is awesome. There's a free version that most of you can use to get your email campaigns up and running. There's Aweber. There's Constant Contact. If you are a CrossFit box, some member management suites also have these things built into them, and you can utilize those. So that's a broad overview of why you would need a robust member-centered email system. Now let's talk about the different types of emails that you would potentially be sending. So I've got 4 basic types of emails that would be going out, and let's just use today's discussion to be a launching off point. And I'd like to start with the lowest hanging fruit that we could all start doing tomorrow, and that is going to be your Newsletter. So newsletter is a piece of cake. The purpose of a newsletter is just to provide some social proof or reinforcing your members' success inside your gym. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to tell the world with a newsletter, hey, this place is fun and there are people just like you in here getting in great shape. So if you don't have a monthly newsletter, let's make it a goal in October. By October 20th, I would like you to send out a newsletter. If only to your members, that's completely fine. And let's not spend a ton of time on it. Let's just do something simple like doing an athlete spotlight. So pick an athlete out of your gym that is seeing exceptional results or happens to be exceptionally positive, or to use the language from the academy, somebody that would be a maven, and just let them know, hey, I would like to do a story about you in our newsletter, and feature that athlete. Write up a story about them. It can be a short little Q&A, and just send it out to your members and have that be your launching off point. It'll be a piece of cake. It'll take you 20 minutes to get it all set up and set out to your members. And you're beginning to develop this habit of regular newsletters going out. So again, that newsletter, we're looking to show that we're having fun. We're looking to provide a little bit of social proof and show people on the outside that, hey, what we're doing in here is look at all these people doing it. They're having a great time. You know, Susie is a mom also, and she's seeing great results, and she's able to find, 3 to 5 hours a week to come in here and get in shape. We're not trying to write a journal article on strength and conditioning. I mean, we're just not trying to overload people with information in a newsletter, but simply just to give them like 300 or 400 words and a couple pictures that just show them how fun this place is. So newsletter, that was your first type of email. The second type of email that I would like to introduce to you is the auto-response. So if you are in the 3-2-1 Go Project Academy, one thing that we always talk about is your CEO time. Buying back your time as the gym owner to move on to these higher value roles. And an autoresponder is a free, very easy way to buy back a significant amount of your time. So there are a lot of different options here. So what I like to do is I just look through my inbox every month and see if I'm answering the same questions over and over and over again. So whether these questions are related to your membership terms or your rates, or how do I get started, or I need to put my membership on a hold, or I'm traveling from out of town and I'd like to drop into your box. All of these things can be auto responses. And again, if you guys look back, the first thing that we talked about is that today's consumer is looking for immediacy. And so this autoresponder allows you to buy back a lot of your high value time. And it also allows you to immediately respond to some of these common athlete requests. And you can do this free. There's a great app if you are using the Google platform for your email. So if you use Google Apps for Business, or you have a straight up Gmail account, there's a free app. It's called Canned, C-A-N-N-E-D. And Canned will allow you to auto-populate all of these auto responses. And anytime somebody gives you one of these really common emails, you can shoot it off to them. Another reason that I like to use these autoresponders is to direct people, like we said at the very beginning of this, is to direct people to your primary call to action. So for me, I know that if I can get somebody in the gym and sitting face to face with my head coach, they're probably going to join my gym. If I circle around with somebody via email or on the phone talking about, any number of things, like what does on-ramp look like? Give me a day-to-day programming. what do your rates look like? What do I get for that? And what about nutrition? Blah, 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 blah. So like people will kind of circle around this decision for a long time. And I found that if I have an autoresponder that says, hey, here's a page to get started, here's a bunch of links to a bunch of the content that we've done on nutrition, on on-ramp, on recovery, on stretching. Here's an answer to all of these questions that we've already put out there a million times. If you want to learn more, schedule a free no sweat intro with my head coach. You guys can sit down and answer any of these other questions. So it allows you to really direct people to where your strength lies. And I'm guessing if you got into this business, it's because your strength lies in helping people, not answering emails. So the more that you can do these things that you're really good at and not spend a lot of time answering all these common emails, the better off that you're going to be. Another thing that I like to use the autoresponder for is for new members. You know, we know in that first month that people are still testing the waters. So if I can assign them these autoresponders after they first become a member, it sets the precedence for them that, hey, this is a place, like, we care about checking in with you. We want you to participate in our programs. Like, we are here for you. And I would never remember to like write each one of those emails every day. So I use an autoresponder to make sure that they are getting this information from me and knowing that the line of communication is a two-way street. So far, we have talked about your newsletter, which you guys should totally do this month. If you are not, you have an October 20th deadline to get that in. An autoresponder, there's a great app. It's called Canned. Super easy to use. You can use it on your mobile phone or your desktop. So kind of moving along the line of increased complexity in your email systems, the next one is an email system related to marketing. So this is a little bit higher barrier to entry, a little bit more technical know-how, but by no means is this impossible. You guys would be able to sign up for a free email service like Aweber, Constant Contact, or MailChimp and be able to utilize this. And what I'm talking about is a landing page, also known as a paywall. I have the word pay in quotation marks because nobody is actually paying for anything to get this information. So essentially what this landing page is that it is a front-facing page on your website. And behind that page is a piece of valuable information that a niche market might want access to. So you guys have seen this, and you guys probably have signed up for this, whether you know it or not. But this is something like, top 10 nutrition tips, and enter your email address to get access to this. It could be top mistakes in your Olympic lifts. It could be a week of programming or something like that. Any number of things. What it is it's just a download that is behind a paywall or behind a firewall. And in order to access that, you're just putting in your name and or email address. And the purpose of this paywall is it's a marketing tool primarily. And what we're looking to do, overarching goal of a paywall and this free download behind the paywall, is to draw a line between the service you provide and a problem that somebody has. So, one of the things that we talk about a lot, Chris Cooper talks about this new emerging market of CrossFit, is that people that have been looking for CrossFit for CrossFit's sake have already found it. So now the new market that we need to go after are people that don't know that CrossFit solves their problems. So let's say I have a problem, and that problem is fat loss. I don't know that CrossFit can provide that for me. I have not found CrossFit, nor have I heard of CrossFit, let alone your CrossFit affiliate. So what can you do? You can put out in your marketing, you can put out, top 10 diet mistakes for people looking to lose fat. And I see that in my Facebook newsfeed or through some other newsletter or anywhere. And I think, gosh, I'm interested in fat loss, so I will go in and put in my email address and get this top 10 diet mistakes for fat loss. And once I do that, I put in my email address. You get my email address, and I get this download. And the download or the auto-responded email is always something of high value. So we're not really tricking anybody into giving our email address. We're providing them with this really high value piece of information in exchange for their email address. And by doing that, I've drawn a line between your gym and my problem. My problem is fat loss. Your gym has put up the diet mistakes for fat loss. And now there's a line drawn between the two for me. Now, maybe I don't become a member right that day, but you have my email address. You continue to give me valuable information in exchange for that email address that draw a connection between my problem and your solution. Another thing that you can do with this paywall or landing page is to establish yourself as an expert. So one thing that we say is that our goal for our gym is to not necessarily be the CrossFit gym. It's to be the local health, wellness, and fitness expert who happens to choose CrossFit as the way to manifest health, wellness, fitness, nutrition, all of those things. So by having this paywall for super specific information, super specific high value information, you're further establishing yourself as that local expert on that particular subject. Another way that you can use these paywalls or landing page, firewall, whatever you want to call it, is to build your email list. So if you're listening to this and you don't have an email address, an email list of leads or prospects, this is a really easy way to begin building that list for these really specific things. And then you can do like a strength download. You can do nutrition download, a fat loss, a marathon prep or marathon recovery. So what you're able to do is you're really able to zero in on these market segments and speak to them directly about what they're interested in. Instead of, hey, here's my CrossFit gym, everybody come join, that's really not speaking to my problems. But by zeroing in on my problems, I'm looking to run a marathon, my feet hurt every day when I'm running, and you put out this information, boom, I'm zeroed in on what you're offering, and I'm beginning to view you as the expert on fitness, even endurance. So last type of email system that I want to talk about today is going to be a drip campaign. So to recap the things that we've covered, we have a newsletter, which is the most simple form of email system that you can have. You can send it out this month for free, and you absolutely should be doing it. This is a non-negotiable email system. The second was an autoresponder for buying back your time and directing your customers to your primary call to action. The next type of marketing email system was this paywall or this landing page, where in exchange for high value information, I'm putting in my email address, and you will continue to give me more of that high value information. And you're drawing a line between my problem and how your CrossFit affiliate can solve my problem. Now moving on to the drip campaign. A drip campaign is simply it's a pre-canned series of emails that are triggered by certain activity, and they continue to come into my inbox. So let me give you an example of this. I have a 12 email series for my gym that is triggered by attendance. So as somebody's going through OnRamp, the first 12 times they sign into class, they get an email. And once they sign in, the email goes right to their inbox. And what we do is we're going to recap the things that they learned in that class, point them to some valuable content on our website that we've already put out there, and let them know what to expect going forward. And this happens every single time without question. And that's the important aspect of a drip campaign, is that I'm receiving these emails at important benchmarks in my lifespan as either a prospect or a member of your gym. So you guys can also set this up. This is getting into a little bit more advanced functionality for your email systems. If you're using a service like Aweber or MailChimp or Constant Contact, I'm guessing this is probably going to be a paid feature of one of those services. If you ask me, the investment in those paid features more than pays for itself. So if you're on the fence with that, just do it. I think I pay 15 or 20 bucks a month to MailChimp, and it is well worth that payment for these drip campaigns. You can also set them up with a timestamp, for example. So if you have an email system and you know that somebody goes into your list on the first of the month, you can say, for example, every weekday morning, you'll get an email talking about anything, nutrition. Like, here's a nutrition tip for the day. If you want to send your members out a shopping list and a new recipe, you can do that on Sundays. You can do like a Sunday cook-up newsletter, and you can pre-fill all of those and set up a paywall. I'll put in my email address for that Sunday cook-up newsletter, and then you can preload that with a bunch of shopping lists and recipes, and then every Sunday morning I can wake up to that in my inbox, and you can continue to be out in front of those drip campaigns. If somebody fills out a contact form on your website, you can have them go into one of these drip campaigns, and every week you can send them something new about getting started with fitness. It could be like a Couch to CrossFit newsletter, for example. You can do a 1 month. Every week you can send out Monday morning, all right, here's your week's programming for Couch to CrossFit. Maybe that person never joins your gym, but at least you are supplying them with the valuable information that they need if they're not quite ready to join your gym. So in wrapping up, I want to let you guys know, if you do have any questions, please use the Q&A function on this broadcast. Again, I can't see anything posted to the wall of the event. If you have any questions, throw it up there. I'd be more than happy to answer them. We will have a recorded version of this on our YouTube page. And lastly, if you are interested in scheduling a free mentoring call, it's a half-hour call. There's a link on the event page that you can go and do that. Otherwise, you can go to 321goproject.com and click on affiliate mentoring, and there's a little form you can fill out to schedule that free mentoring call. If you haven't done that, I would highly recommend doing it. So wrapping up, today I introduced 4 different email systems that will help your members and help your prospects or your future members. And those were a newsletter, and we're just looking to share some fun, interesting stories about what's going on in our gym, both to our athletes and for people outside, providing a little social proof for people. Next thing, we have an autoresponder. The autoresponder buys back your time so that you can move on to these high-value CEO roles. It can also direct people towards your primary calls to action so that you don't have to spin your wheels with new athletes answering questions that aren't getting them towards a decision to join your gym. Third type of email system is going to be that paywall, firewall, landing page, whatever you want to call it. And essentially all this is a way for you to build your contact list, to build your prospect list. And what you're doing is you're asking people for an email address in exchange for something of high value that may be solving a problem that they currently have. And then that fourth type of email system would be a drip campaign. And the drip campaign is an evergreen campaign that goes out in regular increments once somebody goes into that list. So you can tie your drip campaign to attendance in your gym if your member management software allows for that. You can attach it to a timestamp every week, every other day, every weekday, every weekend, however you want to do it. As I said, so from the newsletter all the way down to the drip campaign, those are increasing in complexity and difficulty in setup. So start with the newsletter. October 20th is your deadline for your first gym newsletter to go out. If you've got that, begin looking through your inbox, and let's move on to those autoresponders and see what some of those common questions that you get asked are, and potentially we can start buying back some of your time so that you can really begin sitting in the CEO chair. Again, guys, 321goproject.com. There's a ton more information out there. We'll probably revisit some of these email systems going forward, and look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks.